Maggie Driscoll made a breakthrough on Coronation Street as her blackmail storyline ramped up. Earlier this week, the family matriarch was pressured by former daughter-in-law Melanie, who had a dastardly plan. Melanie arrived in Weatherfield last month following the revelations regarding her son Will and his athletics coach Megan Walsh. Melanie has attempted to bring Will back to Scotland with her, but found ex-husband Ben hard to convince. Knowing that simple words wouldn't do the job, Melanie visited Maggie in hospital earlier this week and urged her to convince Ben to let Will move. If Maggie didn't comply, Melanie threatened to tell Ben that Maggie had killed his father, Alan. Tonight's episode of the ITV soap saw Maggie continue her rehabilitation following her stay in hospital, with Tim and Sally Metcalf greeting her with some friendly barbs as she made her way downstairs into the Rovers. Her mood soured, however, when Melanie walked in. Melanie called Ben over and threatened to tell him everything, but Maggie managed to at least delay the blackmail deadline until the end of the day. Maggie soon got to convince Ben that Melanie's idea was a good one, and suggested that a move for Will could be good for him. Not only would it keep him away from Megan, but it would also give the family some time to breathe. "I've been thinking about Melanie's proposal, and it might not be the worst thing that could happen," she said. "It doesn't have to be forever. Just a couple of months. Kill two birds with one stone. Melanie feels she's doing her bit, and we get our boy away from Megan." She added that the gossips would move on to another matter once the dust had settled, and Ben appeared to consider the idea for a change. Of course, it's not a done deal, with the family still having to convince Will to move as well. The rain hammered against the windows of the Rovers' return as whispers swept across Weatherfield like wildfire. Everyone was talking about the same thing, the mysterious blackmail messages that had left half the street terrified. And right at the center of it all stood Maggie. Coronation Street. For weeks, Maggie had tried to keep her head down. Ever since the anonymous texts started arriving, she barely slept. Each message revealed secrets only someone close to the residents could know. Affairs. Lies. Stolen money. Hidden betrayals. Whoever was behind it wasn't just causing drama, they were destroying lives. But when Maggie received her own message, everything changed. "You know what happened that night?" Her hands shook as she stared at the screen. She quickly deleted the message before anyone could see it, but the damage was done. Someone knew her secret. Across the pub, Kit noticed her panic immediately. "You all right?" he asked carefully. Maggie forced a smile. "Fine. Just tired." But Kit wasn't convinced. Later that evening, Maggie locked herself inside her flat and pulled an old shoebox from beneath the bed. Inside were faded photographs, receipts, and one crumpled letter she had spent years trying to forget. The blackmailer somehow knew about the fire from years ago, the one Maggie had sworn she had nothing to do with. Except she did. Not directly. But enough to ruin her life if the truth came out. As the pressure mounted, Weatherfield turned on itself. Carla accused Tracy. Tracy blamed Steve. Even Sarah became suspicious of Todd after another explosive message exposed private family business. Meanwhile, Maggie started piecing together a disturbing pattern. Every blackmail victim had visited the community center within the last month. That couldn't be a coincidence. The next morning, Maggie quietly slipped into the center while it was empty. She searched through cupboards, filing cabinets, and storage boxes until she discovered something strange, a hidden burner phone taped beneath a desk drawer. Her heart pounded. "This is it," she whispered. Suddenly, footsteps echoed behind her. Maggie spun around to find Ben standing in the doorway. "You shouldn't be here," he said coldly. The tension between them was instant. Ben stepped forward slowly. "You've been asking too many questions." Maggie clutched the phone tightly. "It's you, isn't it? You've been blackmailing everyone." Ben laughed bitterly. "You people deserve it. Every single one of you pretending to be innocent." Maggie realized then that this wasn't just revenge, it was personal. Ben revealed he had uncovered secrets while volunteering at the center for months. He listened to conversations, copied messages from unlocked phones, and gathered dirt on nearly everyone in Weatherfield. At first it was harmless gossip. Then he realized how much power secrets gave him. "You'd be amazed what people will pay to keep the truth hidden," Ben sneered. But Maggie noticed something else in his voice, anger. "You targeted me first," she said quietly. "Why?" Ben's expression darkened. "Because you let my mother take the blame." Maggie froze. Years ago, Maggie had witnessed a terrible accident involving Ben's mother at the factory fire. Fear kept her silent, and Ben's mother became the scapegoat for mistakes made by others. The shame destroyed her life. Now Ben wanted everyone in Weatherfield to suffer the same way his family had. Before Maggie could respond, Ben lunged for the phone. They struggled violently, knocking over chairs and boxes. The burner phone skidded across the floor. "You don't understand what they did to us," Ben shouted. "I understand more than you think," Maggie cried back. For the first time in years, guilt overwhelmed her completely. Then came the breakthrough. Maggie stopped fighting. Instead, she admitted the truth. "I should have spoken up back then," she said tearfully. "Your mother didn't deserve what happened." Ben hesitated. The anger in his eyes flickered with uncertainty. And in that single moment, Maggie saw her chance. She grabbed the phone and ran straight out of the community center, locking Ben inside long enough to call Kit. Minutes later, police cars flooded the street. Residents gathered outside as Ben was led away in handcuffs, furious that his revenge plot had finally collapsed. But the drama was far from over. Because Maggie still had her own confession to make. As the crowd watched silently, Maggie turned to Kit. "There's something I need to tell everyone." Gasps spread through the street. Even after exposing the blackmailer, Maggie knew the truth about the factory fire could still destroy her reputation forever. But for the first time in years, she was done hiding. The final scene saw Maggie standing alone outside the Rovers as rain poured around her once again. Yet this time, there was relief in her eyes instead of fear. Weatherfield's darkest secrets were finally coming into the light. And Maggie's breakthrough had changed everything. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Coronation Street.